Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Rachel. I am a homeschooling mom to two boys, a kindergartner and a preschooler. And in today's video, I am going to talk about how I am planning for the upcoming homeschool year of 2023 to 2024. Hello, thank you guys so much for stopping by my channel. Today I am going to just dive right in, and this is going to be a little bit of a brain purge of all the thoughts that are going on inside my head, and I'm going to try to organize it in as logical and as best a way as I can. So first I'm going to talk about the overarching goals for our homeschool that I have for myself, our family, and specifically the education of our boys. The first overarching goal that I have for our homeschool starts with scripture. It is the Bible verse from Philippians 4:13. I can do all things through Christ who gives me strength. I tell the boys this when we are having those difficult challenges, when we're having those rough days, that we can do all things through Christ who gives us strength. And yes, we have to practice patience and we have to set limits for ourselves, but that is one of the overarching goals that I constantly come back to when I need to hear it and when my boys need to hear it. The second overarching goal is that we love child-centered learning. I allow my boys to pick the science topics, and I go at my child's own pace, assessing where they are in their language arts abilities and in their math abilities, because those are two areas that my children have. One is a kindergartner and he is performing at a higher level in one area and right on par for his kindergarten level. So I, as the teacher, get to decide which curriculum fits him best. And with my preschooler, I really love all the play-based learning and literature-based learning that is perfect for him. So each child, I get to give them tailored curriculum for where they are on each level. The third overarching goal I have for our homeschool is that we have family time, we have sibling time, we get to bond together as a family, and that time is precious to us, that they get to spend with me and with each other, that they will be able to problem solve together, they will be able to solve conflicts together, and that will have a bond that I pray will last a lifetime. And the fourth, our overarching goal for our homeschool is just to live slow living. We don't have to rush through our day. We can take our time. Things might not always get accomplished on the schedule that is laid out in the curriculum, but that's okay. I really want us to just have for them to value slow living and not feeling anxious that we have to get all these things done in a certain amount of time. That's just what our culture is throwing at us, and I think that is not how God intended us to live. So for those four goals, that's kind of how the big picture concepts for how I want our homeschool to run. Looking at this year, how did those goals get met in the current curriculum we have? So what is working for us and what is not working for us? And I like to do the sandwich approach. So have a positive and then a negative and then a positive and then a negative. So I'll start off with the first positive of how things are going this year for our homeschool. The first positive for our homeschool was our family subjects. The boys and I loved our family subjects. So that includes social studies, Bible, literature, and science, and Spanish as well. We loved those curriculums. One, because we took our time with each of them and we got to delve as deep as we wanted. We could take time to do the science experiments. We were not rushed at all through any of these. Okay, the first thing that is but I wouldn't say it's not going well, but the first thing that I as a teacher need to focus on more is my preschooler. So my preschooler, we're doing a literature-based program called Plain Preschool, and some days I forget to do it with him. I get so wrapped up in all of the other curriculum and getting the chores done and the meals prepped and all of that I forget to do my preschooler's curriculum. And I found that doing it first thing in the morning is the best option for us. So going into the rest of this year and next year, I really want to focus on getting that one-on-one time with my preschooler first thing in the morning. And I'm not a morning person, but he is, so I just need to try my best to do it, not just 2 times a week, but maybe 3, 4, even 5 times a week with him, because it fills his heart when I get to pour into his education first thing in the morning. The second thing that really worked this year for our family is our co-op. We go to a co-op which has individual classes, and the boys are loving that. It's also a great social outlet, and it allows me to get a little work time done. So we are loving co-op. The second thing that didn't quite work out the best, but it was definitely a learning opportunity for me as the teacher, was our school schedule. When planning everything out, I for some reason thought it would be a great idea to schedule a 10-week block into our schedule. Never again. 10 weeks was way too much time without a break. And I did that just because of like holidays, but looking back, that 10-week block that I did was not okay at all. It was just, we were so burnt out. I don't know why I thought that was a good idea at the time. But what has really worked well is between a 6 to 8 week schedule for us. So I just need to look at our schedule for next year and kind of pace out breaks a little more better. The third positive with our homeschool is the pacing. We got to set my kindergartner's pacing. We were flying through his level 1 kindergarten math book, and we made it to even the level 2 book. And now we're actually starting to slow down a bit. And with his language arts, we took it really slow because that's what my kindergartner needed. So the self-pacing has been phenomenal. Not rushing him as the teacher, knowing when to pull back a bit or to also give more. I think that's been really good, just being aware of my child's needs and working with it. The third thing that has not been really working well is the interruptions during my kindergartner's single subjects. So math and language arts, I have my preschooler, I either give him an activity to work on with us, or if he doesn't want to do that activity, he can work on Play-Doh or he can go to our playroom. But he does interrupt us quite a bit, and I think it's just the age. And what I said previously is if I pour that time with him for his preschool lessons first thing, he interrupts a lot less. But I mean, that's just something that he likes to be with us. He likes to be around us. And the fourth thing that has really worked for us this year is my boys' independent play. Children at these young ages learn the best through play, and my boys have had a fantastic time learning through play. I try to do toy rotations every few months, playing out back as much as possible, getting out in nature as much as possible. So the independent play has worked amazingly for how they socially interact with one another, problem solve with one another, and just learn through hands-on real life. So keeping all that in mind, we have our overarching goals, we have what has been working for our homeschool and what's not been working for our homeschool. So that finally leads me to think about curriculum. So what curriculum has really worked for us and what might need to change. So I'm gonna talk really quickly about what has been working really well for us. And if you've noticed, it is our family subjects. So we loved our science program, the literature-based program. I love that. We're gonna stick with that. And we have not finished the earth science history, so I think we're gonna continue that. But also, I've asked my boys what science units they want to learn about, and space is the one that for sure we are doing for next year, along with the finishing up of the earth science curriculum that we're currently doing. Next would be social studies. Again, literature-based social studies. We are really enjoying it. I've had to tweak a few things here and there with book choices and incorporating more hands-on art projects, but that's okay. I can handle that for our social studies. We're doing cultural studies, so we're gonna finish out probably for next year the same curriculum, but the picture books, volume 2. Also for Spanish, it's a literature-based program, very hands-on, very repetitive. It incorporates a lot of songs. We are loving our Spanish program, so we're going to continue on with that. Now for my preschooler, he's going to be in pre-K. So I plan on introducing a handwriting curriculum, a phonics program, and we're going to continue on with the literature-based family subjects for him as well. Now on to my kindergartners, single subjects. So we're going to talk about language arts and math, and I think we're going to maybe see some changes in at least one of those. So for his language arts, it started out rough. It started out rough because I believe that math was coming so easily to him that he thought language arts should also be coming just so easily to him, which is it's just not the case. So we've really had to use that Bible verse that I can do all things through Christ who gives me strength, and have him really have a positive attitude and that he can make mistakes and learn from his mistakes, and it's gonna be okay. That's how we learn and that's how we grow. And I have seen such amazing progress in his language arts over this past year. Like going from getting very frustrated and having to pull back to him now being motivated that he can read, and when he's out and about in public, he's pointing out signs, and that is amazing to see. So we were doing the Good and the Beautiful, level K, their old version, and I've looked at level 1, grade 1, which is the new version, and I really think that we are going to continue on with that program. At the beginning of the year, I would not have said that, but he has shown great progress with it, and I'm going to continue on with it. The phonics program we're using is by Prenda. It's called Treasure Hunt Reading. It's a free resource. It's amazing. We are also going to continue on with that because we'll probably be only about halfway done with it. We'll just continue on with it for the next school year. Now, the curriculum that we're probably changing is our math curriculum. So here was my thought when I picked out math lessons for a living education. We started with level 1 for his kindergarten year, and he flew through it. And the reason I chose that was I wanted to see on this very gentle approach how far he actually was in his math abilities. And he basically knew all of level 1. I honestly didn't have to teach him anything, and that is a blessing from the Lord. That is wonderful. So we went on to level 2 because again, I wanted to see kind of where he really needed actual instruction. And I think I found it with level 2, with double digit and single digit addition, that like he actually was, I was having to teach him. And with double digit addition, I was actually having to teach him the concepts, which is fantastic that we've kind of found where he actually is with his math curriculum needs. Now that I have found out where he actually is in his math needs, I can now pick a curriculum that is a little more rigorous and a little more, not as gentle as math lessons for a living education was. So I'm going with 2 different choices here, and I would love your comments below on which you think would be the better fit. The first one I'm really leaning towards is Dimensions by Singapore. Again, I don't know what level he would be at because I want to finish this curriculum up and then do the assessment. I know it's a lot more rigorous, but I think that he could do great at that more advanced math curriculum. But I've looked through the Dimensions teacher manual and it looks fantastic. So I'm really leaning towards that. The other one I am considering is Math with Confidence by Kate Snow. Now, I haven't gotten to see a physical copy of this, but I've heard rave reviews from so many homeschool moms here on YouTube and just talking to moms in general. And it is, again, real world-based math. The thing is, though, it's not a tried and true curriculum. It's a fairly new one, and I don't want to go to a curriculum that's very hyped up necessarily. I want something that is proven for years and years. So that's my only holdup with Math with Confidence by Kate Snow. So I've heard great things about it. It's, again, teaching real life math concepts, but I just don't know. And I would love your thoughts in the comments about dimensions versus Math with Confidence. And there are so many YouTube videos actually on this, and so many are leaning towards Math with Confidence, but I just don't know. That wraps up our curriculum picks video. The last and final thing I want to say is I need to pray. I don't need to just research. I need to pray about this, because honestly, this curriculum, I need to make sure that God is blessing it and that God is choosing it for our family, just as He has chosen the homeschool path for our family. Thank you guys so much for listening to me as I completely poured out my brain to you guys about our homeschool goals in general and what has worked for us, and the curriculum changes that are staying the same and what might not be. I hope this video encouraged you in some way, and I hope that wherever you are having a fantastic day. Bye.